Um, yeah, I think we could kind of pretty much just fast track it, because if you think about it, people listen to podcasts these days on like double speed and
Yeah, I do my uni on double speed and stuff. So,
stuff. So
all
it's
right,
just get to the point.
getting into it. Cool. So then we'll do. What do you reckon? A 10-minute med? Do we do pranayama breath?
Yeah, we can do that.
So do you want me to do a bit of the chat? You do the guide
Yeah,
in.
yeah.
Want to add anything to it? And again, just if you feel like adding in, just jump in and say.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like my sound doesn't pick me up to sort of interrupt at the right time. I often feel like I'm not interrupting, but to sort of jump in.
Just jump in. That's all right. We can.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So I've clicked record, and just start. Ready?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Do you want to start? All right. It's weird when normally it's an interview, you kind of got to prompt, hey, go sitting at the top. I guess what do we say? Like, welcome to Oracle. All right. Welcome to the Happy Mind Project, and to come along and learn how to do what we kind of classify maybe as a stage 1 meditation practice, which is a wonderful foundation to help you establish. I'll start again because I'll start dribbling off.
I just realised I need to put my phone on.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
It'll cut it. It cuts across this thing. I don't know if I'm not controlling.
Mine will probably as well, but it's fine. All right. Welcome to the Happy Mind Project. My name's Rich, and this is Carly, and we are both full-time meditation teachers with in different practices. And the technique we're going to be sharing with you today is a practice called a mindfulness meditation practice. We all come to meditation for many different reasons, and from CEOs to mums and dads to artists to children, to help us alleviate other stress, increase performance. For some people, it's to really connect to something deeper within themselves. Whatever the reason, meditation is a wonderful science-based platform to essentially help us remove some of the negative influences and forces from our life. So we're going to run you through a short instructional video with some information on the actual science and practice of meditation, so you can get an understanding of really what you're doing. So it's not just an idea, but you have the framework to help you move forward. Once you've done the technique session, you can jump onto any of our group meditations, which are running twice weekly, and where you can actually interact with Carly and myself. If there's any questions you might have, you can certainly just reach out, because we're here to support you, because fundamentally meditation is a journey. It's not a straight line, and there's going to be experiences you have which you may want clarification on, or you might be thinking something's not working, and that's where it's important. You can just jump to either Carly or myself and reach out and ask these questions, either on the group meditations or even in the Facebook group. So I'm just going to quickly share a screen with you here so we can go through to some of the benefits and science of meditation. Now, when we call this the Happy Mind Project, when we're talking about the Happy Mind, it's not that idea of just that happiness in itself. We believe the happy mind is more of an empowered mind, a mind that has resilience, is more optimistic than negative, and we can cultivate these. And first and foremost, if we can do that by releasing stress and tension from the nervous system, we're giving our brains and bodies a much greater chance at being more optimistic than negative. Here we just have, again, some ideas of some of the many people of meditation. Now, these are obviously peak performers. There's a gentleman by the name of Tim Ferriss who interviews world-class performers, from athletes to business to entrepreneurs to tech startups and so on. And he has reported back that 80% of these peak performing human beings have some kind of daily meditation practice. Now, some of these you may recognize, such as Hugh Jackman and Oprah Winfrey, I guess more in that entertainment sort of space. Then on the other side, we have guys like Ray Dalio. Ray Dalio runs one of the biggest hedge funds on the planet, with a personal net worth of around $16 billion, and likens meditation to the number one reason to his success, because it's giving him equilibrium, so he has balance with his emotions and his intellect. And then we have a guy like Sam Harris, who is one of the preeminent neuroscientists on the planet and a massive advocate of meditation, and runs his own apps like Waking Up, which is all about meditation. So again, that's just to sort of let you know that meditation is not a fringe movement. It is a scientifically based platform just to help us be optimal. In today's day and age, we are consuming more information than ever before. Our nervous system is being bombarded. In fact, it's indicated that today we're consuming the amount of information in a single day that our ancestors 250 years ago did in a whole year. So it's no wonder we're kind of feeling it. And a result of this is there's more of us that are experiencing stress, anxiety, and depression than ever before, despite the fact that health and nutrition and all that sort of information is readily available, where our body is taking the toxic overload of stress. The reason for this is a lot of us are spending more time in their stress response. So Mother Nature gave us this beautiful, powerful ability to, in life and death situations, have an instant uptake of stress, of strength, should I say. So if we get presented with information, like in previous days, if there was a tiger running at us, we'd see that information, the body would release an alarm system, that alarm system would throw a cocktail of chemicals through our body, cortisol, adrenaline, and noradrenaline. And as a direct result of that, we go into either fight or flight mode, which is wonderful in these life and death situations. So, but not so good when we are dealing with just general day-to-day living. And we are unfortunately inadvertently triggering this response in inappropriate situations. This can be your child drops a bowl of porridge on the floor and we get our stress response. So a stress response is a reaction to a situation. There's some belief that there's no such thing as a stressful situation. It's only our response to that situation which will determine the success, the stress. So you think about that for a moment. You can have two people in exactly the same situation. One might look at it and go, no big deal. Where the other, they freak out and they go into that stress response. With the real negative of this is the long-term consequences, because the more we start triggering this response, I'm driving down the street, someone cuts me off, I get that little internal reaction, that little anxious, that feeling of inside. Then I turn up to the office and I get a bad phone call and that same response. It's basically creating neural patterns and neural pathways, which we have a situation, we respond with stress. Situation, respond with stress. So over time, we're basically polluting our nervous system with those chemicals. And this here is a picture from Lifeline Australia, which just shows some of the long-term negative consequences as a direct result of stress. So people have increased headaches, increased heartburn, rapid breath, risk of heart attack. Cardiovascular disease is the single biggest killer on the planet, which is a stress-related illness. Increased depression, insomnia, weakened immune system. So what actually happens is when we go into that stress response, our body automatically deactivates our immune response and also our digestive system. Now, the reason for that is when you are confronted by a life and death scenario, such as a tiger about to bite our heads off, the last thing our body needs to do is worry about preventing or fighting a virus. It needs to put all its energy into strength to run or fight. So it turns off these systems. And then we can see a whole lot of other problems, from blood pressure, stomach, sexual issues, tense muscles, and so on. So there is so much negative to ongoing stress within our body that we need to try and alleviate this. And a lot of us, when we feel that response inside, we go, I don't feel really good. And I might reach for either a beer or the TV remote. And that's a signal that you're listening to your body, that you know you don't need to feel this way, but we haven't been really given the right tools to be able to naturally alleviate that, because a lot of those other techniques, they're maladaptive, whereas they won't help us in the long run. They might give us an instant fix, but it's not going to really solve that stress response. So we want to basically enable and empower our system to be able to deal easily and naturally with those situations rather than going to a stress response. What also happens is when we go into a stress state, we lose access to our prefrontal cortex, which is the CEO center of your brain, where you get that critical intelligence rather than reacting out of emotion. If we're reacting out of emotion, we might lash out and say something we don't mean. Like I used the example before of the child dropping the bowl of porridge on the floor. I might lash out in a stressful situation. Oh my God, this is so stupid. Why did you do that? Yet it's just an accident. And I'm operating out of stress. I lose the intelligence, the emotion. Our old primitive brain starts running the ship, and we say things we don't mean. 10 minutes later, once we calm back down, all that adrenaline wears back off a little bit. We go, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to say that. So one of the beautiful gifts that meditation gives us is the ability to respond rather than react. So you have a situation, the child dropping a bowl of porridge on the floor. When we first start out, we might react, but then over time we go, oh, hold on. It's just a bowl of porridge on the floor. I can clean it up. No worries. Let's get you another one. And off we go, rather than going into that state, because that state isn't going to change that situation. So meditation always gives us that buffer towards those old instant primal reactions. Here's an example of the brain before and after 10 minutes of meditation. You can see on the left there before, with a lot of that red activity, a brain's in high beta brain activity. So there's high activity, really stimulated and agitated. By the simple process of sitting down, using a technique such as what we're going to teach you, you can see the instant calming effect within the nervous system, and the brain just goes, it starts to soften and calm itself right down. So thankfully we can measure and quantify the practice of meditation in today's day and age. So here's just a few of the many personal benefits of meditation, which again, these have been scientifically quantified. Reduced risk of cardiovascular disease, of viral infectious reactions and diseases, reduced hypertension, reduced stress, anxiety, and depression. It improves sleep, because cortisol, which is the stress hormone, is also actually really damaging to help you sleep with the production of melatonin and so on. So if you're having problems sleeping and you're stressed, it's going to impact your ability for your natural cycles to create melatonin, which is going to help lead you into sleep. So there's this really vicious cycle. Generates a sense of calm, and there's a host of other cognitive functional benefits, such as increased ability to learn and increased grey matter in the brain. You regenerate new neural pathways. So basically we just get smarter and be able to use more of the innate intelligence within our nervous system. Professional benefits of meditation. So if you're in the workplace, you can increase your creativity because we get out of that critical past future projection of the mind, and we can access more of the right hemisphere and clear thinking. Reduction in absenteeism. People, when they're meditating, they're less likely to start to drop out of things and be more willing to engage. Improve performance and engagement, positive work environment, and increased resilience. In a nutshell, we start to enliven our nervous system to be the best version of ourselves. And because we've got an amazing toolkit, and meditation just helps us access the ability to think critically, engage creatively, be more present with our loved ones, and so on. So that's enough of me talking. And we are now going, I'm going to now get Carly to share with you what we're going to do in terms of the technique. And she's just going to guide us into a meditation practice.
Okay, so you're just going to sit, get yourselves comfortable, and whether it be in a chair or your lounge or on the floor, and just sitting comfortable. You don't have to be bolt upright, but you do need to be sitting. And we're just going to start with just a basic breath technique, just to activate the nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system. So to begin with, we're just using our thumb tips and index finger for alternate nostril breathing. So we just bring the fingers onto the nose, just draw them down the side of the nostrils, and then pressing and releasing the breath in and out through the nose. So to begin with, we're going to press the right thumb down and exhale, lift the index finger and release the breath, empty the breath through the left nostril. Then inhale through the nostril, completely fill the lungs, and then release the breath out through the right nostril. So you don't need to take your fingers on and off the nose, you're just pressing and releasing to control the breath. So it's a deep inhalation, filling the lungs to the comfortable maximum, and then deep exhalation, completely emptying the lungs. So we're just going to sit comfortably for a few minutes and just control the breath. Just smooth inhalation, smooth exhalation. Feel the lungs and smooth transition between the inhale and the exhale. And completely empty the lungs. Just going at your own pace. Just in and out through the nose. Deep inhalation, fill the lungs. Feel the chest rise to the comfortable maximum, and then deep exhalation, completely emptying the lungs. Just a nice balancing breath to set us up for settling into the meditation. So 3 to 5 minutes is fine just to begin with. Just bring your awareness to the breath. And we'll just do one more round and finish with exhaling through the left nostril. Then releasing the hand down. Just sitting with the eyes closed, and you can take a blanket or a shawl just for comfort factor if you like, otherwise just sitting comfortably. And just closing the eyes, relaxing the shoulders away from the ears. Relax the jaw, soften the lips. And just bringing your attention to your natural breath. So just observing what's going on for you. Observing the rise and the fall of the belly, of the chest. Soften the shoulders away from the ears. And we're just going to sit for 10 minutes, just a 10-minute meditation, using our breath as a focus. So just bringing awareness to the breath. And when you notice that you're carried away in thought, we don't try to control the thoughts. We don't try to stop them or force them away, control them in any way. We just bring our awareness back to the breath, and it's just a natural breath. We don't control the breath. Just gently coming back now. Taking a deep inhalation in through the nose. Keeping the eyes closed, soft. Just gently moving your toes and your fingers. And just taking 1 to 2 minutes before slowly opening the eyes. So it's worth just tuning in here and feeling into how you're feeling. Just observing what you're feeling, and we just are not so concerned with thoughts in the practice. We just pay more attention to the subtler aspects of how you're feeling at this point. And when you're ready, just opening the eyes. You can keep them downcast to begin with, and then when you're ready, welcome back, Rich. How did you go? How do you feel, Rich? Can't hear you. You're on mute.
There we go. How's that? Okay.
Better?
Oh, good. Yeah, this is one of those meditations which we'd call a householder meditation, where I had kids in the background and doors and stuff, and which I think's probably worthwhile highlighting, that in any environment, especially with ones we're currently often faced with, there's always going to be noises around, and we just allow them. So I had one of those busy external meditations, but just to feel good and calm now.
Good.
Thank you.
Set for the night?
Yeah. I think that's one thing that we to really emphasize is that meditation is more of that physiological state. So as Carly said, we're not concerned by the thoughts or the mental state. Our body's getting that deep rest. So which is really what we want, that body is to feel calm. Might feel really heavy, can sometimes feel a bit tired and fatigued, but it's just giving that body that rest, which is really important. So yeah.
Beautiful.
Do you want to sign off, Carly?
Well, I think that wraps up our intro to meditation. So thank you for joining us here on this session, and feel free to jump in on the 2 other sessions we're running weekly, which are free for you to just jump on, do a 15-minute meditation with us live, and then that's open for Q&A, any questions and guidance you need through your practice. And then we've also got our Facebook groups and page if you want to contact us that way as well, just to engage and reach out if you need anything.
Fantastic. All right. Well, have a wonderful evening, everyone, and thank you. Hopefully you've got something out of that. And the real most important thing is keep going. Keep meditating, keep practicing. So keep at it.